Good afternoon. Welcome back to the YouTube channels of both Southernphonemans Telecom and the Central Office Telnet. If you need the services of Southernphonemans Telecom, sites.google.com/site/Southernphonemans Telecom. If you want to join the Central Office Telnet, sites.google.com/view/Central Office Telnet. Just one thing to note. We are now partnered by Grandstream. Southernphonemans Telecom is now an authorized Grandstream certified reseller. We are here in the central office. We got a couple of things to go over this afternoon. One of them being a little topic that I saw on the YouTube channel. About hook flashing. It was mentioned on this channel that you could actually hook flash on an ATA, and while that part might be true, it's not totally true with all ATAs. For an ATA to do hook flashing, the ATA already has to have been provisioned to be able to convert pulse dialing into DTMF. Because in today's world, pulse dialing is gone. And without the proper conversion, or without the proper equipment, you're not going to get pulse dialing. And basically, hook flashing is pulse dialing. Now, I'm going to show you with this old phone right here. It's now hooked up to Central Office test line. We're going to get some dial tone, and I'm going to show you what I mean. We're going to dial 811, which is the business office number. You're going to hear it ring on to my left. Okay, it's ringing. So I'm going to go ahead and hang it up. Got the dial tone back. Now I'm going to hook flash that same number. You have to be good at doing this to be able to accomplish it. But, so 8. The call went through. All right. So, basically, when you hook flash like this, the phone is sending pulses out to the piece of equipment that converts them. So when I pick up and I hook flash 811, it is the same thing as dialing 811. Because the piece of equipment that's doing the converting and sending the call through doesn't know that you're messing around with the hook switch. But you accomplish both pulsing with the hook switch and hook flashing as you do with the rotary dial. Now, if this phone is not hooked up to an ATA that does not convert pulse dialing, it's not going to happen. It has to be hooked up to an ATA that will convert the pulse to dialing to DTMF. Just as simple as that. It's just like an IP phone will not do hook flashing. I know that it can do it. I've seen it done, but not without some work being done to it. It's not meant to hook flash. Just like certain ATAs cannot hook flash without that change made over to pulse dialing to DTMF. There has to be that conversion. This central office has that, both sets of that equipment, which is why I was able to get the hook flashing done with that telephone. At any rate, that brings me to another topic in this video: Telecom IP phones. This Telecom IP phone was a purchase made off of Amazon. The seller of the unit said, quote unquote, it works, it's ready to go, so on and so forth. Well, it wasn't ready to go. This phone required a lot of work. It seems to default to Skype, which I have no use for Skype. Skype's just another version of, or another protocol of VoIP. It took me a lot of work and a lot of time to get to the point to where I can get lines to register to this unit. It's got 4 lines registered right now, but there's a lot of nonsense that you got to go through just to get it to this point. And if you were to default this phone, it would go right back to Skype. Now, whoever owned the unit before obviously was using Skype. And if I ever were to sell a phone like this, I would see to it that whether it's a Grandstream, whether it's a Telecom or an Oberhigh, I'm going to make darn sure that the phone has been totally defaulted and something like Skype has been removed from it. I have provisioned and configured quite a few IP phones and ATAs in my time. And this Telecom was by far the trickiest. And in this video, we're going to go ahead and configure a line. I'm going to show you the interface. Right now, as you see, as I said, there's 4 lines on there. We're going to configure line 5, and I'm going to show you what it takes to get that done. So, what I'm going to do is pause the video. I'm going to go to the computer, go to the interface. So, you can see right now that there's only 4 lines on there. Otherwise, you would see it on the screen. What we're going for is line 5, and you'll see it on there when we come back. So, we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back. All right, we're back. And as you can see, I'm on the interface of the simulated #1 crossbar, which is for the central office Telnet. You can see all of the numbers there, and you can see there's 3 there on the screen, which says unavailable. So where I've got the cursor pointed at right here, 745-7830, that's the one we're going to go ahead and we're going to grab the password from there and go over to the Telecom interface. So I'm going to pause the video and I'll be right back. But when we do get it registered, we'll come back to this interface and I'll show you. All right, right now we're on the Telecom interface. I'm about to log in. The default password is 456. And now, as you can see, we need to go to settings, and we need to drop down to lines. Now, as I said, we need line 5. Display name is going to be 745-7830. Address is going to be the same, 745-7830. Authentication. All right, you want that disabled. Because what we're going to do is register the domain 192.168. User ID. And I pasted the password, my outbound proxy. I'm holding the camera away because I don't want this to be seen. Okay, I got to make sure that I put the port number on the outbound proxy. Transport is UDP only. Server 1, again, that's the IP address. Port number 5060, and again UDP only. Now, if this is done right, we're going to hit save. Do you want to save the configurations? Yes, I do. And I'm going to pause the video for just a couple seconds. All right. You will see where 745-7830, it says idle and it's green. It means that registered. So, we'll be right back. Okay, we're back at the Telecom device. And where I pointed at before, which is right here, you can see that number is there. All the numbers with the check mark means that those are registered, they're up, and they're running. So, we're going to use the test line. We're going to call 745-7830. And you'll get a call. I'm not sure yet if that's going to ring or not. Yep, it rings. So obviously we're going to answer it. And you can hear me. Sorry about the feedback. But you see the line does work. Okay. Now we're going to pick up that same number. We're going to call the test line. You hear this phone barely ring. I need to push send. Okay, it's ringing. Hello?
Hello?
Once again, it rings. Now, there's a couple of interesting features on the switching equipment that I don't know if I've mentioned before. And once again, I'm going to call the test line. Push send. Hello?
Hello?
Now, let's say I want to make another call. That's the music on hold. Now I'm going to make another call here in the central office. It's going to dial that phone over there. Now I'll hang that up. Then I'm back to the original call. The music on hold is a part of default music on hold files within the switching equipment. But again, I've got another one of these Telecoms on their way. So I can provision more lines for different things. You know, in the central office Telnet, we've got the time of day number. We've got the weather number. We've got popcorn, which is time and temperature. We've got, like I said, the weather number, sports number, which is another one. Things of that nature. So when I think or find ways to get another number for another service on there, there has to be something, there has to be a device that'll hold that number. Because when you dial this number here, it's not actually going to make the phone ring because of the way the switch is provisioned. It actually will dial. The best thing for me to do is to show you. So we've got 745-1616. You can get scores for sports and weather reports, and as well as time on this one.
Thank you for calling our gateway to free weather forecast, directory assistance, sports scores, and much.
See, it did not dial this phone, but there has to be a device to hold that number. So, again, there is a Telecom VVX 410, which is a 12-line phone. We will do a video on that eventually. Just one other note. I did purchase another telephone in here recently, and I have not done a video on it yet, but and I'll do a video on it soon. It's this right here. It's an Erico phone. That phone, I'm going to put the video on pause.